It was a dark and stormy night, and the wind howled like a pack of wolves. Jenny, a young college student, was driving home from a friend's house, her hands tightly gripping the steering wheel. She knew she shouldn't have stayed out so late, but she had lost track of time while studying for her upcoming exams. As she drove down the deserted road, Jenny noticed a figure standing on the side of the road. It was a man, dressed in ragged clothing and hunched over. Jenny slowed down, unsure if she should stop and help him. But before she could make a decision, the man vanished into the darkness. Shaken, Jenny tried to shake off the eerie feeling that had settled over her. But as she continued driving, she felt like she was being watched. She couldn't shake the feeling that something was following her. She turned up the radio, hoping to distract herself from her thoughts, but the only station that came through was playing static. As she fiddled with the dial, the static suddenly stopped, and a voice spoke through the speakers. It was low and gravelly, and it spoke in a language Jenny couldn't understand. Jenny's heart raced as she tried to turn off the radio, but it wouldn't respond. The voice continued speaking, its words growing more urgent and insistent. Jenny's hands trembled as she pulled over to the side of the road, trying to gather her thoughts. Suddenly, there was a loud banging on the window. Jenny screamed as she saw the same ragged man from earlier, his face twisted into a grotesque snarl. He tried to open the door, but it was locked. Jenny fumbled with the keys, trying to find the right one, but she couldn't seem to get the car started. As she struggled, the man began to circle the car, his ragged clothing flapping in the wind. He muttered something under his breath, and Jenny could see that his eyes were glowing in the darkness. Just as she thought all was lost, the man suddenly disappeared. Jenny blinked in confusion, wondering if it had all been her imagination. But then she heard a scratching sound coming from the roof of the car. Jenny looked up and saw a pair of hands reaching down from the roof, their skin pale and clammy. She screamed as the hands began to pull her towards the roof, their grip like a vice. Just when she thought she couldn't hold on any longer, the hands released her, and Jenny fell back into the driver's seat. She looked up, her heart racing, and saw the ragged man standing in front of her, his eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. He spoke in a language she couldn't understand, but she could tell that he was angry. He seemed to be demanding something from her, something she couldn't give. Jenny tried to reason with him, but he didn't seem to be listening. In a moment of desperation, Jenny lunged for the radio and turned up the volume as loud as it would go. The ragged man recoiled in pain, his hands covering his ears. As the static filled the car, Jenny hit the gas and drove away as fast as she could. She never saw the ragged man again, but she could still feel his presence following her, lurking just beyond the edge of her vision. She never forgot that night, and every time she heard static on the radio, she would feel a chill run down her spine, wondering if he was still out there waiting for her.